light bulb flash moments. It actually happens in their eyes. Like you're looking at someone, and their eyes almost flashes like a camera.
And you can pick up on that.
You can pick up on it, so you know when you're starting. Okay, that's something they got. That's something they got. You pick up on that over time. I know for me as a trained lecturer and professor, I'm able to identify when that's happening, and you're also able to identify when people are checking out. And they're not like in tune with what you're doing or what you're saying, and you got to do something. If you're skilled, you're going to do something.
What do you do? How do you do that? How do I redirect those that might be falling asleep?
Well, you got it. It's a lot of time. It's not the information. It's the delivery, right? So it's your approach. So if you're giving someone information and they're checking out, it's typically that your approach is what's losing them. So you have to find what's connecting with them. So there are a lot of which I'm heavily known for using a lot of analogies and different things, metaphors and stuff to hone in on my points. So since you have so many analogies you can use, you can go from as complex as science, as layman, as everyday life. Mm-hmm. And if someone's checking out, you got to find what it is that they're connected to most. It may be music, it may be arts, it may be everyday life, it may be relationships. So if you can start to feel their vibe and feel who they are, and you're starting to use these different analogies, and you start to see them, get back engaged, and you're like, oh, okay. That's what's important for them. So I'm going to make sure this information that I'm giving them connects with that piece that they like. So I'm always, when I'm doing my lectures, I'm kind of like feeling the room, and I'm all over the room, like, okay, that person over there, they're into relationship. This person over here is into fashion. This person over here is actually into business, so I can stay close to business. This person's into money. This person's into music, and I feel that in the room very quickly. So then I'm lecturing, and I'm like, okay, now listen to this. It's just like, but the room's thinking I'm just doing an analogy, but it's really, I'm doing it for this person here. And I'll come back with another one, and I'll do it for this person here. And then everyone's like getting their turn on the lecture. So that's how you keep people engaged. And people say, well, how do you, because I do, like our conference next month is 10 hours long. And I'm the chief facilitator for the conference. So I'm like all day long, I'm lecturing 6-7 hours. And, my staff is every year, we've been doing this 7 years, and they're like, how do you keep the people so engaged? Like, they're up, they're taking notes, they got a page there. I never really tell my secret. I'm like, because I just know what I'm doing. Just know what you're doing. I just, last month, I didn't lecture at all. We have had our annual conference, our how-to conference last month, and that was like 15 classes. I didn't lecture any of the classes. I just spoke in the main room, and then all the lecturers did their thing. Yeah, so I can go long, I can go short, I can,
versatile.
Yeah, you just gotta be that way,
So what are these conferences for?
Well, all my conferences are self-help conferences, pretty much, right? So we do 4 of them per year. We got 3 around the beauty supply business. We got a summer and a winter conference. January, we do winter in LA, Atlanta, summer. And then we have a summit, a mid-year summit is what we call it. That's in Atlanta. And then we have another one for my Entrepreneur Institute, my Urban Business Institute. That teaches just entrepreneurial skills, like hard entrepreneurial skills before you get into any specific business that you're working in. And that was called a how-to conference. And what I do at that conference is I put together a whole roster of sessions, like 75-minute sessions. I don't know, 15 minutes. They got another 15 minutes for Q&A stuff. But it has something to do with all with business. So we got one, for example, one of our very popular ones, how to get $250,000 in business credit. So we got a guy there doing that. We have how to market your business online, and we got how to market your business brick and mortar. And we have how to negotiate leases, how to manage your startup capital. If someone give you an investment, how do you manage that? How do you choose the right partner to build wealth with? Because you're talking about whether they're married to you or business partner. How do you set up your business where you can actually retire? Because some people are just constantly going and they can't stop. So we have a facilitator that comes in and and teaches you how to put everything in place to set up for retirement. So we have like 15 classes. Next year, I think I'm going to double it because we had so many requests for facilitators wanting to come in.
Wow.
So I might do 30, make it like a 2.5-day conference instead.
So if I'm attending the conference and I want to know how do I manage my startup capital, and then I also want to know how do I choose the right business partner, but then I also want to know, so can I attend all three?
Yeah. So what happens is, and this is hard for people, right? So you pay one registration fee, but you can go to any workshop you want all day long, right? So how I have it set up is there are 3 workshops being conducted at the same time. So we call them different tracks. So for those 3, we try to not put 3 that are competing with each other. So we have, like for example, we know the different aisles that people want to focus on. So we got online business, we got retailing, we got startup, we got like brick and mortar. So we got like 4 different areas. And in those 4 different areas, we have the classes that fall under them. So in one track, we won't have more than one online workshop because if someone's focusing, right? So if someone's focusing on doing a business online, we're not going to have how to market your business online and how to set up your website on the same track. So that's going to be a separate track.
Can you teach some of these conferences the same? Because they'll have like 2 of the you're like, I can't choose. I want to go to both.
Yeah. So what happens is what we saw this time was people were coming in groups, so they would split up. So they would have like, okay, you go to that one, I'll go to this one, and they take their notes and then they compare it. Yeah. So and then we got some people that they sit in for the first 30 minutes, try to get what they can, and then they leave and go to the next one. But all of our workshops were like standing room only, man. It was a great thing. So they're constantly asking. Now the request is, "But can we do this every quarter?" And I'm like,
"Yeah, I don't know how much
work, man. It's hard work, man.
Together.
Yeah, it's hard work." And we've been blessed, though. I mean, I have a strong cult following. So it's like with Professor Devin is one or the other. You really know me and you follow me, and you don't know who the heck I am at all. So it's like hot or cold.
Yes.
So for the people that's hot, they are loyalists. So the minute we say we launch an event,
they already
registered. Tickets are being ready. When we did the how-to conference, let me tell you how crazy it is. We planned. I've been planning this in my mind since 2015. I just didn't have time to roll it out. This was our first year rolling out the how-to conference.
Okay.
I was going to do it last year, and I was busy with the BlackLivesMatter tour, so I couldn't get it done. So I said, all right, I got to finish this tour, doing this, and I'll come back to that.
Okay.
So then I finally got back to it. I said, okay, we're going to do it. But it just so happened to be the month after our Beauty Supply Summit. So I said, okay, we're going to put up the website, and we're going to let our subscribers know, because we have our email database that we email stuff to. People get my power thought quotes and moments and stuff every day, every week. So we're going to email to them and let them know. We didn't have facilitators. We didn't have specific names of classes yet. I had that stuff with me, and I knew who I wanted to get, but we didn't have the stuff on the website updated.
And it was 30 days.
And we had about 30 days. We sold about 40% capacity without details on the website. So I was sitting back, because we were busy focused on the summit.
Yeah. So
I'm talking to my staff, and I'm like, do you know what this means? Like, we have a good reputation. Like, if people are registering for our conference, and we have no specific details, all we got is the date, the location, the time, but all the classes aren't there. We're not showing them who the facilitators are yet or anything, and they're buying our tickets. That's a blessing. Like, you can't sleep on that. I'm in a staff meeting, like, you guys are, like, sitting around, like, okay, I said, you guys don't see this as groundbreaking. People are really trusting that we're going to deliver them a quality event, and I don't put I don't endorse anything. I don't put my name on anything unless I know it's for real, it's legit, it's effective. So we're finished with the summit in April, like April 30th or something. The how-to conference is May 22nd. So we're finished with the summit on Sunday. Monday morning, I'm like, time for the how-to conference. Let's get the facilitators in. We got to update the site. We got to get the title. And like a week before the summit, we were sold out. And we didn't do any radio, any TV. I don't think we did a press release. Like, we would just, people were just registering it. We just like, get this thing going. And I sat back and it turned out to be great. I mean, we got the footage. I actually got to go through all the footage today. Because we had, I got a team. They had the cameras and people doing testimonies and taking footage, and I got to go through everything and now approve what goes in the website, because I can't wait for people to see how it turned out. Yeah, how it turned out. We got the workshops. The workshops will be shown to people who are like members of our organization, and we call it the How-To Vault. So in the How-To Vault, we have all the how-to classes, sessions that I've done, interviews that I've done on people. The workshops for my events over the years, they get access to that so they can, see everything. So I got to go through and approve all that. But that was amazing to put an event together like that in like 3 weeks. So now we're focused on the summer conference, which is July 22nd.
I have people going.
You do?
I do.
It's sold out. It's sold out, right?
I have people going.
Yeah, well, they're lucky because this is the first time we've been sold out over a month before the event. We're sold out. The hotel told us you cannot sell any more tickets. And we're like, well, can we upgrade to a bigger room? You can't. We have a conference, another conference here. There are no more tickets you can sell. So we're trying to figure out how to maneuver. We're like, okay, well, can we move this table? Can we do so? We went and looked at the venue and we're like, well, if we move this table over here, can we get more people in? Or we're trying to figure this thing out because this is when
back door.
We're trying. The last month is when we get, I would say, 30% of our tickets are sold in the last month. We just do stuff late. I don't get that, but at the last month is when we get a lot of registration. So I'm trying to accommodate the last minute rush, but I don't think I'll be able to put it off.
I want to give a huge shout out to Nikayla Boyd, because she is registered. And when she saw you Facebook Live yesterday, she was like, I can't wait for next month. I can't wait for next month. So she's in Birmingham, Alabama.
Good.
And she will be in...
Tell her to make herself known. Let me see who she is.
She watching? Go and tell her.
Hey, well, at the conference. Make sure you say hi at the conference.
So, as far as, I'm interested in knowing, what was your favorite testimony?
When? Which testimony?
So, you have to go through the footage and approve, but, throughout the years, what has been your favorite testimony or something that stuck with you and you're just like, you wake up every day and this testimony hits you?
We've had thousands and thousands of testimonies. We get, at every event, we're probably getting 30 to 50 testimonies. And we've been doing our events for years. And I'm big on events and training. Those two things are, I think, the paradigm shift for entrepreneurship. I think I don't like just quick videos or superficial things. We got to get into the training. You have to get into the mind of the person. If you expect to be a successful entrepreneur, your mind has to shift, and it has to do a diabolical shift. It's not just a very casual thing. And over the years, the time it took me to really get a good grasp on entrepreneurship, had it had events that spoke to me, to my culture, to my demographic, to my needs, I would have been much further along in a much faster time. It took me a longer time. And when I look at it, I'm like, okay, as I can look back and see what was missing, I try to make those things available to the other people who are now in a position that I was in 15, 20 years ago. And try to bring them up to speed very, very quickly. Because this is warfare to me. It's economic warfare, right? And there's a lot of economic hate crimes being committed against the black community. So I'm like, listen, we got economic hate crimes against us. We're pressured or kind of shaped to be consumers and not owners, and the conduit to money and not wealth builders. That's economic hate crime. You're trying to lock us out, strategically. So this is economic warfare to me. So I'm gotta put these things together, and you gotta stay engaged. You gotta get the training. I know training is not a very high sought after thing by the black community. We're kind of education should it's kind of like it should just be offered in school, or it should be free, or I don't get what am I paying for, or why should I travel across the country to get this? And but I'm like, well, you travel across the country to go to Disney, right? Like Disney doesn't come to you. You know what I'm saying? Six Flags doesn't come to you, but you don't have a problem loading up, saving your money, putting in your vacation time, getting your hair done, getting your haircuts, buying your outfits to go and just get this rush of adrenaline to come back and do the same thing.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you should not question how far you should go to change your economic position, situation, to become powerful. You shouldn't question if you got to go across the street or across the country. If the solution for your economic problems is across the country,
if it's in New Zealand, I'm going.
You gotta go. It's like the movie Book of Eli, right? I like to use this analogy because the Book of Eli. You seen that movie, the Book of Eli with them?
I have, yes.
That movie spoke on so many levels with different things, right? So he's traveling out west, blind, and all these obstacles are in his way, and he's fighting these different obstacles. He's not giving in to temptation. The easy way came his way. Like, listen, you could just join us. Make it easy for yourself. You have all this stuff, all the temptations are in place. Are you going to bow out? Like, nah. Because my solution is over there.
Yeah.
And the solution is not just for me. It's for the other people that's coming behind me. I got to stay focused and steadfast. That's just like us, right? So we got generations, our children coming behind us. And if you don't travel across the country for your solution, they're going to inherit your problem.
Hey,
you
hold on, say that again, because I tweeted you all day yesterday.
Oh, did you?
You need to write a book of just quotes.
Yeah, I should. I got tons of them.
I just want 10%.
Yeah. But going back to your question, I just want to answer your question because I don't want people to think I drifted off because I remember stuff. It's there. The testimony, right? So we get so many testimonies, and the ones that stick up to they're similar. So the ones that really stand out for me are the people that say this conference is worth way more than we paid. Some people come and say, I owe you money. Like, I owe you money because I thought from the onset, from the outside looking in, it seems like an expensive price. I gotta get a flight. I gotta run. But when you get here and you're leaving, I feel like I owe you money. And I'm like, those are, because I like to over-deliver. So if you're feeling that this is worth its price in gold or it's worth the changing of your life, that's super important, right? So it's like one of the quotes I always say. Just like a bad driver can mess up the traffic for miles,
oh yes,
so can bad parenting mess up lives for generations. So if you're not
V from Tennessee, you tweeting that? I need you to tweet that.
So if you're not making the right decisions now to change whatever direction your family's going in, like I spoke about the billionaires, we're going in reverse. If you're not making those changes now, your children are going to inherit your problems. Like you should be thinking about that. You should be thinking about, am I leaving my legacy in a better situation or worse? Are my children inheriting problems and bad decisions that I'm making because my head is in the clouds and because I don't want to travel across the country for the solution? You know what I'm saying? You got to go across the country. You got to go get that solution rather than traveling across the country to get on a roller coaster.
Facts. 617-282-0062. Waking up with TaylaAndre Monday through Friday, 5 a.m. to 7 Big City. Are you up? Are you up? Waking up with Professor Devin in the building. Yesterday was an absolutely amazing event. I just want to thank you for your truth and for your honesty and for your unfiltered facts. They were straight facts. And I wish we had a 12-hour summit yesterday. I wish it was that long. Because I feel like there's so much that we didn't cover. Like as far as mindset, as you've been in business for 10, 15 years, and you've been doing all the wrong things. Now how do you break those habits and start doing the right thing? Because you thought you were doing the right thing this whole time, and then you come out and Professor Devin just like, nope, that's not how you do it. Nope, change it up. How do you change, that routine that you're in. Somebody who's in business now who is listening and just like, this isn't the mindset that I adhere to. This isn't how I conduct business, but this makes sense. Like, how do you just change your mind?
Ooh, that's so crazy. So my first book is called Changing Your Mind. 1 degree at a time. That's the interesting part, right? And if people know, there's some people that know my journey. I wasn't always on this track, on this side of the fence. So I had to really change my mind. Mm-hmm. And the thing about me that I know that is unique is I can change. Like if I understand that what I'm doing is taking me away from my goals or causing me harm or whatever, and I need to go in this direction, whatever's on that road, I'm gonna endure it because I know the solution is at the end of that road. Mm-hmm. And it comes from denying of self, right? So I speak about this even in the book. You gotta learn to deny self because unfortunately a lot of people are subconsciously worshiping themselves and they think they're mini gods, right? So yeah, our body is in homeostasis. We're trying to heal, we're trying to protect. Our instincts and reflexes is to protect us from harm. But I think people embellish that a little too far and think like, I'm a god and nothing is supposed to happen to me. Mm-hmm. And life just isn't like that. We're all, what you see on the news, you're not immune from that. The people that are in horrible situations, you're no better than them. We're all sharing this life, right? So all cohorts right now in this life, we're sharing this life. So you have to understand that you are susceptible to negative things in your lives. Just like the other person that you're watching on the news, that just may be their season. You may be on a high season right now. Mm-hmm. But that doesn't mean, and I'm not saying you will have a low season, but it doesn't mean you're immune from a low season, right? So if you start to think about yourself in a more humanistic way and deny self, you have a denying of self attitude, then you would start to objectively look at yourself and say, well, what are some of my problems? What are some of the things that are preventing me from going to the next level? And get rid of them. I don't care if they've been a part of your family's heritage for a generation or for years. You got to be the deal breaker. You got to say, okay, all this has been in my family and this is what we do, right? So they talk, the story about Miss Bertha who always cut the fat from around the state growing up for her kids. And then her daughter was doing the same thing and her husband questioned the daughter, like, why are you cutting the fat from around the state? She said, well, that's what my mama did. Like, you need to ask your mother, why are you doing this? She asked her mother said, oh, I did that because I had a small frying pan. It couldn't fit in the pan. And the daughter had a bigger pan, but the daughter was still cutting it. So it was like, metaphorically looking at it like, so I was cutting the steak smaller for no reason. But my mother had a reason, but you didn't know the reason then. Yes. So back then, we had so many lack of resources in our community, economically, business, and we had to do certain things. We had to be street corner peddlers. We couldn't go to a bank. We couldn't get it. Yeah. And then now we have those opportunities in front of us, but we're still operating in a way that we're calling it being black, right? Now a lot of times it's not being black; it's being dysfunctional. Don't confuse the black culture with dysfunction because there's a difference, right? So we're taking these things and we're saying, well, if you're not doing this, you're not black. You're like, really, that's not black. And we got to be careful what we say black is because our culture, our real history was strict. And we're trying to recover. We're trying to find our place in America, right? So if you stop, again, denying yourself long enough to say, well, you know what? The black community has resettled. Late 1800s, early 1900s, and it's settling in what it was faced with. Mm-hmm. The Jim Crowism, from the antebellum era, it's settling, it's resettling. So some of those ills from the PTSD that we faced, that we never got government sanctioned to treat and all that stuff, a whole other story, has now transcended into the different generations, right? The subsequent generations.
Shout out to my Christians who call this generational ills, like the generationally passed down.
Yeah, it's coming down. And then we grow up and we're looking around and we're conditioning our kids because we know they're like a blank slate. And we're painting on them. when our kids are raised, we're painting on their slate. And then they're looking at us and they're saying, oh, okay, so that's the painting that was put on me. This is what I should do. And we're passing bad painting, dirty brushes, arthritis wrists onto the canvas. And now the canvas is not as pretty and as glorified as it could be. Mm-hmm. And then we just pass that on. Mm. So now we have generations that are inheriting certain things.
Generational curses, that's what I was looking for.
Right, exactly. That are now a problem, right? So we walk around and we have this mindset that's limited, and we have a difficult time changing it because we're already wired. If I'm wired, that's it. And people have a difficult time shedding those ills of growing up, the trauma, the setbacks, the hurt, and we just have a hard time coming out of it. Mm-hmm. Me, I'm an individual that I can straight up cut people off. Like, if we're not going in unison, and I'm like, okay, you're a problem.
So you could fire your mom.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. 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 Like, I can stop talking to if I know, because I love my parents, but if I know that she is suffering from a curse that is preventing and prohibiting where I can take my legacy and what I can do for my kids, her grandkids, I gotta push her to the side and say, sit in this corner and just let me do this, because your curses are being viral and it's not taking us to the next place. I
want you to expand on that, because this is something that comes up regularly. Mm-hmm. Not just, family members and friends. Most of the time it's friends. Like, how my friends, I have to convince them. And you said something yesterday. If I have to convince you to go into business, I don't want to go into business with you. But we have people that have to convince their friends to, like, be on the right path and read a book, or step outside of your comfort zone, or, come with me to this seminar, to this summit. Come with me to this event. But you said I will cut my mama off if it means helping her grandkids. So for people that are just like, well, I'm West Indian, and that's blasphemous. I can't just cut my mama off. You trying to get me killed?
Let me explain something to you. Let me give you a peek into the mind of Professor Devin when it comes to stuff like that. Here's what I believe. So life is made up of levels and circles, right? That's what life is. You're either in the same circle with people, you're in the same level with people. The thing is, you can be in the same circle, but then you're not in the same level. So you got people that are not in the same level, but in the same circle. And then you have people that are on the same level, but they're not in the same circle, right? So what does that mean? It means that everything in our lives, you have titles and you have relationships, right? So there's a difference between relatives and family, right? What makes the difference is the actual relationship. So mama's extreme, but we're going to stay with mother, right? So I have a mother. Biologically, that's my mother. But then you have to look at the relationship. Is she a mothering person? Because we know biologically there are kids that were birthed by parents that, for whatever reason, now they're being mothered by someone else. So the whole thing is about relationship, right? So peep game. So what I'm saying.
I got you.
You may have a best friend, and you guys are traveling through life, aligned, parallel. Everything's great. And you're starting to shift, because people change every 7 years. Yeah. Hopefully you're changing in the same direction.
So there's your credit score.
Right, exactly, right? So you're changing and you're going another direction they're not. The moral thing to do is, hey, check this out. Let's keep going this way. Because I've done it. And they're like, nah, I like this ratchetness. They're like, nah, this is not going to do well. Our kids are getting older. We got to go over here. Nah, but it feels good, and I can't change it. Okay, so now I'm looking at you and saying, okay, what does that person bring to my life? You know what I like? They listen well. We have the same interests. They're humorous. They make me laugh. I make them laugh. Okay, so those are 4 things. So what I got to do now is replace the person that brings those things in my life with someone else that does those same 4 things that are now on my level. So what you do now is you got to understand. It's like playing, the video games, Donkey Kong and Pac-Man. I'm dating myself. But every time you go to the next level, you encounter things or you encounter people that connect with you on that level. So you can't keep yourself back and stay on that level because you're worried about losing the reciprocation that you get from this one person. And so you're prohibiting yourself from going to the next level. It's like in school. You have a good teacher in the first grade and you love that teacher. You can't say, well, I don't want to go to the second grade because I love this teacher. When you go to the second grade and you got the teacher that replaced the first grade teacher and they're like, oh man, this was good too. It's a replacement. So you're trading things out like I don't want to say things because it's
attributes.
Yeah, but just to make my explanation, understandable. It's like you're trading a car. I like this car because it has certain features, but now I can afford another car, but I got to make sure I got the similar features from the other car. And then when I get the similar features, there may be some added features that I didn't even think about for the next car. This is how people are in your lives. You got to be careful of holding on to people that are not supposed to be in your life for a season. They're just supposed to be there for a reason. To take you from one place, and then you go to the next, and then you replace those elements with someone else. I won't say totally cut them off, but you reshuffle the seats, right? Yes. They're no longer sitting in the front row. They're now sitting in the balcony. They're still in the auditorium, but you're just shuffling seats. You're reissuing tickets. Like, okay, time for you to go to the balcony. These people here, who's now on my level, are now in the front row or the floor seats.
I got you.
You see what I'm saying?
I got you.
So you can't be hung up on the relationship piece. You got to be able to move, and you got to be willing to move sometimes with no relationship until you find the next one. You know what I'm saying? You can't be holding on like, I'm not going to let go of this until I find the people to replace them.
Yeah.
Because the people that are supposed to replace them may be looking at you and saying, oh, that's the group over there. I'm not going to get part of that.
Yeah,
I'm staying over here. So you want them to gravitate to you. You got to put that energy out, and sometimes you got to evict the people that are there. You know what I'm saying? So those are things that we go into a deeper sense of our mindset and us as individual going to the next level, reshaping our legacy, bringing people in that are going to take us to the next level. Those are some of the ideals that we got to practice that are sometimes very uncomfortable for people because some people don't like to be alone. I date myself. Like, I've been meaning to go to the movies and see the Tupac movie. I haven't seen it yet, but I want to see it. And I do stuff by myself.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I go to movies, I go to dinners, and I'm sitting and I go in the restaurant, and I'm like, the dinner for one? Yep. And I sit there, and I'm having a grand old time. Like, I'm good. And you got to be good being alone. It's great. You have other people to share with you or whatever, but you can't be afraid
of being alone.
You got to, love yourself and be like, you know what I'm saying? I'm making things happen myself, and then go to the next level. And one point I want to go back to, real quick, that you were mentioning about people doing things in business not going to the next level. So another piece that I think about when I'm in business is I say, okay, this wings shop or this restaurant that this person opened is not doing well, and the proprietor is not doing well, and they're probably looking at it and coming up with all types of excuses. I spoke about yesterday, the third cardinal sin, self-preservation. Third cardinal sin of entrepreneurship. But what you got to think about is Chick-fil-A grew. KFC grew. That means they're doing something or they know something that I'm not doing. And if I'm in a similar business and I'm looking around and someone else is growing, I can't say this is a failure. I got to look at myself and deny of self and say, what am I doing wrong? Because I'm not in the wrong type of business. There's just something I'm doing wrong. So I use this with the beauty supply industry. You got black people coming to you all the time. Is there room for a beauty supply store? Can I do this? And I'm like, what are you talking about? Don't you see the brand new one, the big box, Asian-owned one that's being opened?
Down the street from the other big box Asian one that's open?
How could you think that you can't... and if you open, you're worried. So what are they doing differently that you're not doing?
They ain't worried about you.
Exactly. And you're thinking about the mechanical things rather than the things on the inside that they do. They sleep in their business. Personal finances, they fall back. They don't splurge. They're frugal. They're conservative with their money. They're always there. The money that's being made from the business is going right back into the business. They're strengthening their business. Meanwhile, you're here and you want to have banker's hours, or you don't want to replenish the inventory. You want to buy more things personally at the house, or you're not willing to commit and put in the same level of commitment that the Asians are putting in, and then you're gonna say mine is not being successful. You gotta stop, and we gotta look at ourselves and say, what am I not doing that they're doing, or what am I doing that they're not doing?
So and yesterday you said something that was amazing, and you just touched on it just a minute ago. The frugal. What did you say? The frugal
controls the frivolous.
Yeah. You wanna? I'm trying to tell you, need to come up with a book with just quotes, business quotes to live by. And the other one was, it'll come back to me. Oh, if you want to control someone, put them on payroll.
If the best way to control someone is to pay them. It's not even just payroll; just pay them.
Talk about that. Why? How do you control somebody by just paying them? You would think that...
Because that's your survival, right? So I'm going to tell you. The crazy thing is, so I read this book, Millionaire Next Door, right? Mm-hmm. And there was one of the things that really jumped out at me.
That's Gladwell, right?
No, that's not Gladwell. He wrote Outliers, Tipping Point, that kind of stuff. That is Stanley, Dr. Stanley, I forgot his first name. Millionaire Next Door. But that book brought up something that stuck with me. He said, when you are working on a job, you only have to upset one person to lose 100% of your income. Mm. But when you have a business, you have to upset tons of people to lose 100% of your income. Yet people think that having a job is a more secure thing than owning a business. So what I say is, when we talk about the best way to control someone is to pay them, we want to protect our ability to survive and put food on the table. Mm-hmm. So based on who's pumping that money into us, we're going to acquiesce to that person. We're going to atone to that person. We're going to make sure we don't offend that source, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm controlled too. When I speak about that, I'm not saying that I'm oblivious. I'm controlled by my customers. My customers are supporting my economic survival. But I would have to upset thousands of individuals to lose my economic survivability. I can upset a dozen of them, or dozens. I can upset some, but that doesn't take away my ability to survive. But when you're on a job, you got one person that holds your entire survivability in the palm of their hands. Now, you may be doing a great job, and then they love you, and they're like, oh, okay, the relationship is great, but you're still at a significant risk. So the point I'm making is, for everyone, we are controlled by whoever pays us because we want to eat. At lunchtime, we want to go buy lunch. We want to pay the lights. Mm-hmm. We want to put clothes on our back. So the best way to control someone is to pay them. The problem with the black community is we're not paying enough people. Singularly, we're not in control of jobs. We're paying people as customers, and like I said, the business doesn't have to really be that accommodating to you as an individual because you're just one sale. They would have to be upsetting of the entire black body of customers if black customers are their primary customers. And if black customers aren't their primary customers, you can forget it.
Yeah.
We really don't have any leverage. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's the whole thing here in capitalism, period. That's what it is. The best way to control someone is to pay them. The best way to get someone to listen to you is to pay them. You pay them, and then they're like, oh, okay, what do you need? All right, and they're listening. You have a conversation with them. You're doing it because you're actually cutting the check.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the black community, we're not writing enough checks. We're only cashing them. And even when we cash those checks, we're not taking that money to write checks. So we're really not putting ourselves in a powerful position. So basically that's what that means. You're being controlled by whoever's paying you.
Lord have mercy. Professor Devin Robinson in the studio, in the building. Do you have any questions about business? Do you have any questions about entrepreneurship? Do you have any questions about what am I doing wrong? I've been in business for 5 years. I've been in business for 10 years. Damn, I've been in business for 20 years and I'm still trying to make ends meet. While everybody else is out here running corporations, being able to go on vacation, and I'm still stuck behind my desk and I can't take no days off. And we have that mindset, Professor Devin, that as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, there are no days off. We work Monday through Sunday, sun up to sun down, without any, and that is our sacrifice. We don't get to do anything else. There are no vacations. There are no off days. I ain't took my family outside of the city. I ain't took family nowhere. But for those people, like, what are we typically doing wrong? I know you can't pinpoint unless you know individual situations, but what are we typically in the Black community doing wrong as far as just being that mom and pop shop and not seeing Black businesses turn into multi-million-dollar businesses?
Okay, so there are three main stages to an economy, right? The agricultural, manufacturing, and service or information age economy, right? So I'm gonna make some statements in this thing here. You know, I gotta,
the thoughts and beliefs of Professor Devin reflect on nobody else. Go ahead.
Okay, all right. So here's the thing. Slavery was necessary in America in order to make America a superpower. Had there was not slavery, based on economics, America would not be the superpower it is right now. So let me explain. The first stage of an economy, of building a nation's economy, is the agricultural stage. The agricultural stage is when that country or that nation lives off of the agriculture. So whether it be cotton, sugar, beans, whatever grows, they're farming, right? So it's the farm area. That's because the earth or that nation has an ability to produce things that can be sold, traded, that kind of stuff. In the agricultural economy, there are a couple elements that are necessary. It's intense labor with low wages. Now, in America, there was no wages. Well, there were wages, but they weren't cash payments. The wages that were paying to us was food, shelter, clothing, right? So it's necessary. Intense labor, low wages. There's a non-existence of technology and processes of movement. So you build up that country. This is how you develop a country from these third world nations to a civilized superpower. So you build up, you get the money, you trade, everything's strong. Now you can take that money and invest, and then you evolve into the manufacturing economy. Now you have, or the industrial age is what it's called as well. So you have machinery, the cotton gin, you have more things in place, and then you start to stabilize that economy through political stability, an educational infrastructure, that kind of stuff. And then you go through that stage, right? So you get the boom of inventions are coming in, and you got the money now, you got the factories and workers, the whole nine. People are getting paid a little bit more. The intense labor is not as intense, but you're evolving. And the next stage is the service economy. Service is where technology is strong, the intense labor is subsiding, the profit margins are huge, and now you are a superpower because the people, the country is not necessarily being carried on the backs of the intense labor, right? I use that analogy to explain it's the same thing in business. As an entrepreneur, when you go in, it's going to be intense labor with low wages. You will almost be working for free. You're going to be working way more hours than you're supposed to. And the hours that you're putting in, it is illegal for you to have a worker do the exact same thing. So now that's the catch-22 of being in business, because it's just like America now, right? America has pretty much gone against countries that are enacting slavery, right? Because now they're big enough to, it was wrong, but they're not paying for the wrong. They're just saying it was wrong and we're going to stop, right? So it's almost like you're playing basketball and we got we're in the playoffs, so let's Super Bowl, and we got a trophy coming, and we're playing, but I've been cheating the whole time. So I ran up 80 points, and you only have 5. And then you caught me cheating, or the pressure came along and said, yo, man, you've been cheating all this time. Ah, man, you're right. All right, I'm going to stop cheating. No more cheating. But I don't give you 75 points to catch up to me. Or I don't take away 75 points to start where you're at. I'm just saying we're going to stop cheating. So now you're fighting to catch up to me. Meanwhile, I racked up these points from cheating. Right? So it's the same thing with America. We racked up all these points from cheating, and now we're saying no more cheating. No one in the world, you cannot cheat. And if you're cheating, we're coming after you. We're going to place tariffs against you, or we're going to go at war. We're going to do whatever or embargoes. We're going to stop you because you're cheating, and no more cheating. But America doesn't say, man, we did cheat. We gotta fix this. We gotta get the group to catch up to us, those that benefited from the cheating, or we need to strip from the group who benefited from the cheating and give to the other group. America's not doing that, right? So go back to the business evolving.
Yes.
Now it's saying, well, you can't have minimum wage is now it's 9 and change is going up, right?
Yes.
So now the small businesses, which are pretty much all the black-owned businesses, we don't have the opportunity to build our strength off of the $3 minimum wage that America had in place before we could even own businesses, right? So you're not allowing us the time to catch up. You're forcing us to just abide by the stuff you have in place, but you're a freaking superpower already. So let's think about it being unfair across the board. They're saying $9 an hour minimum wage, but the person that's starting a business, people will probably work for that business for less, but it's illegal. So now you put that business at a disadvantage to say, okay, I probably got to bring my kids in to work, or I got to put in all this labor because that's the only way that I'm not going to get in trouble by the Department of Labor.
Or you can go to Target and Home Depot and pick up somebody.
But we're still
illegal.
Exactly.
Illegal.
We're still having to cut corners and have ourselves in a problem, right? Meanwhile, the other businesses, that is ethically unfair in this country, right? For us to say that the minimum wage for Target is the same minimum wage for the brand new startup beauty supply store. That is an unfair advantage. Unfair disadvantage. You know what I'm saying? But that's what we have to do. So until things can change and until Professor Devin can really continue this fight and get people politically on board.
They said, stay on your soapbox, Professor Devin.
Yeah, thanks for the encouragement, but I hope you got my back when you come after me.
I got you.
So now you have to look at what it takes for you to grow your business. You got to put in intense labor, low wages to grow your thing. And then eventually, if you can make it past that stage, now you can get into the manufacturing. You can get into the manufacturing stage, and now you got things in place. You got more policy. You have this, that, and the third. This is the thing. This is the type of training that I give to people at our Urban Business Institute. Teaching people how to build that structure and put that in place so that you're not constantly in a situation where you can't take a vacation. You're working all these long hours and you can never transition from your agricultural stage into your manufacturing stage because so many obstacles are in your way. You've been doing the agricultural stage so long. You can't go to events. You can't go to conferences. You can't see what resources are out there. You can't see what new tools you should put in place. You can't
go to your kids'
because you're in this treadmill every day and you don't have the time to stop and look around and see what you can put in place to help assist you to transition into the next thing. And that's where a lot of entrepreneurs get messed up because they're just stuck in this tar barrel, right? They're just stuck and they can't get into the next position. So for me, I'm big on creating infrastructure and processes and putting things in place where I can continue to merge to the next level. I can be gone from my businesses for weeks, technically, and they're still going to be running. They're still going to be doing their thing. I'm still going to be getting paid. Things are going to happen. But it took me a lot of years to figure out how the transition works. And that's what I try to teach the people, how to make that transition.
I think you've succeeded.
Well, it's work. Because when you're, sometimes people show up and they're not ready. And some people, they're combative. And some people are resistant to what it is you're trying to tell them. Or they find a whole bunch of excuses. But, like I said, the pessimist will see the problem in every opportunity. The optimist will see the opportunity in every problem.
Say it again.
The pessimist will see the problem in every opportunity. The optimist will see the opportunity in every problem. So when you're speaking to people, if they're constantly throwing up the problem, they're already self-defeated. They're not going to make it. But people have to show up ready. They have to show up saying, okay, I have this problem. And I spoke about it yesterday. I don't care what problems are in my life. I look at my problems and I say, okay, let me assess to really see that this is a problem.
Yes.
Let me make sure. Now I've seen it. Oh, this really is a problem. Okay, what's going to solve that problem? Once I find out what's going to solve that problem, I no longer think about the problem. I just focus on the solution. I don't even carry the stress or the burden of the problem anymore. I carry the stress and the burden of the solution. Like I'm running towards the solution. So if you don't have the money to pay bills, you don't keep thinking about not having money to pay bills. You don't keep thinking about
where I'm get this money from.
The notices to come in at you. You can't keep you got to think about, how do I get the money to solve this problem, and how do I not relive the same problem again? Simultaneously, I'm getting the money to solve this problem, and how do I make sure that I'm not going to relive this problem? That's another thing with me. I look at stuff and I say, I'm not going to go back down that road. That was a bad road. I'm going to fix this. I'm going to pave that road. But now I'm going to put up road, do not cross signs, roadblock. I'm not going back down that road.
Red flag. So, good rising. Leonard Tshenge asked, yes, transitioning of generational trauma, post-traumatic slave syndrome. How do we heal? Break the cycle, Professor. Knowledge and healing.
Okay, so this is going to hurt. But let me tell you something. Black people have benefited from slavery in this country, just like white people have benefited from slavery in this country. What does that mean? That means that we are living in the greatest country in the world, most powerful country in the world. And we are also surviving well off of things that are put in place in this country. Though we're still the stepchildren, I feel, of America, being the stepchild in a great estate, a mansion, is often a better feeling than being the biological child of being in a shack or deplorable conditions. So there are some benefits here that we need to run with. I'm saying that to say, we have to make sure that we are not hung up on those ills. We have to learn to self-reflect and move past those things and let them go. That's an emotional skill where we have to make sure that we are not holding on to pain, whether it happened in our lifetime or it happened to our predecessors.
In our bloodline, because we know science says DNA remembers.
Yes. We have to stop and say, I have to be a new person. Now, the thing is, in the black community, church is a fixture. Churches are fixtures in our community. Whatever denomination you may be, they're going to be churches in the black community. And for those of us that are exposed to church and go to church, sitting in church and listening to the sermons and being a member should be healing us of a lot of this stuff. It should be helping us to evolve and move forward and move past a lot of this stuff. If that's not happening, then you got to take matters into your own hands and meditate, read books, create a healthy living,
go to the conferences that Professor Devin puts on.
Therapy, counseling. you gotta take it manage into your own hands and shed yourself of a lot of the traumas that take place. And I'm saying that to say, every one of us are soldiers and deputies of our children's future. We're like the marshals. We're like the bailiffs in the court. We stand between our present and our kids' future. So we have to make sure that the decisions we're making, the things that we're willing to do, and the things that we're not willing to do, becomes more intense and more pronounced so that our kids can benefit. Like, our kids are relying on us. That little 9-year-old, that 4-year-old, that 12, they don't know any better. But they're relying on you to get over yourself. They're relying on you to get over those issues. We can't sit up and just make a whole bunch of excuses, because at the end of the day, like in business, and I train people on this in business, your bank account, your balance statement doesn't care that your grandmother got sick, your dog died, you had to go to the doctor. At the end of the month, it's going to be in the red or it's going to be in the black. And you cannot convince a balance statement that's in the red to go into the black because you had issues that month. It's going to be what it's going to be. And that's the exact same way our lives are. Our children's lives are. It's going to be what it's going to be. We can't be telling our kids, well, pardon me because of this. They're still going to be like, okay, those excuses are not getting us anywhere. We're still in this situation.
Yeah.
And that's how we need to start looking at ourselves in order to move to the next place.
So I didn't realize we ran through an hour.
Oh, we
like
did.
Nothing. Yeah, we ran through an hour. Tracy Syfax, he was on the panel with you yesterday. He said, you talked about preaching to the choir yesterday. Professor Devin has a very powerful message. How do we get this message out to those that need to hear it? Instead of preaching to the choir, where's the congregation? Where do we seek out the congregation?
So we know that a lot of this stuff, these ills, are in our community, right? We got to get to the people that are perpetuating the ills of our community, right? And I feel that, okay, so let's just look at the entertainment world. Those guys are geniuses, I feel. And not genius on some superficial level. I think they're geniuses on a very deep level. And they're surrounded by geniuses who are immoral. So, no music artist gets to world prominence without a Jewish dollar. So they got to connect with those individuals to go to the next level. Why I say they're geniuses is because those of us that have all these degrees, masters, bachelors, PhDs, are losing the battle of influence to these entertainers who barely get out of high school. Which means they're doing a better job connecting with our young people, marketing to our young people, and getting our young people to see them as leaders and follow them. What we're doing wrong is not being relatable enough to the younger people that are coming up. We treat business training, we treat entrepreneurial development, we treat it as some cryptic, boring, intently troublesome craft. Rather than making it out to be, no, it's relatable, it's friendly, it's high on the social IQ, and it's fun. Making money is fun. Now, the street guys understand making money is fun. But I'm going to tell you two things about that. One, I sleep much more soundly than the street guys. Two, I can almost guarantee you I run circles around a lot of the street guys monetarily. Three, they work way more hours than I do. The guys, if you do the math, I went to this juvenile justice program. We do the math, You got guys that are working the streets, and the average money that they take home profit, this is the majority of them. The regular street guys is the majority of them. When you break it down, the amount of hours they're working, they're working for like $2 an hour. Something like $2-3 an hour. But they don't realize that they're working. Like when you're standing on the corner waiting for a sale, you know you're working. You may be hanging out. You may be smoking, drinking, whatever. But you're on the job because you're waiting for a customer. So you have clocked in. You're actually on the job. And on the job, you're still looking around, and in any minute, you got to break off in a sprint. Like, you're working way more hours than I am. I'm sleeping soundly, and I don't have to, like, keep my shoes laced up because I got to sprint at any given notice. Any given moment. So, the thing is, we have to not come across, because there's an issue with that, where we become so educated, right? And I got 3 or 4 degrees, right? But we become so educated that now we start to assimilate our ways of behavior and our relatability. We assimilate away from that. We take on the corporate structure, and now these young kids who just want to have fun and they just want to make money, they just want to have respect, don't connect with us anymore. So now they're connecting with the people that are. That's what we're going wrong. So that's why I say they're geniuses, because they're able to connect with our children, and they don't even live in the house. They're able to sneak the influence away from us into their reigns, and they never even met your kids, but your kids view them as a leader and follow them. Those of us with degrees are doing a horrible job marketing success, legal success. We're doing a horrible job marketing that, and a horrible job getting people, young people preferably, to follow us. If you look at a lot of these conferences and these types of events, the business entrepreneurship conferences, they're highly attended by females and older people. That's the majority of the attendees, right? So the younger crowd and the guys that are risky, they're not coming because they can't connect to that. So we just have to do a better job making that connection.
Professor Devin Robinson. You know I'm going to be in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Yeah, July 15th through the 18th through the 25th. You have anything going on? I want to go.
The conference.
Hold on. The
conference is the 26th, the 22nd, and the 23rd. I'm going to be gone.
Is that Sunday?
Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah. So Saturday's family reunion. Nana won't let me skip that. But Sunday, I definitely will be there.
Okay. Yeah, let us know. Because Sunday's the bus tour. I think we can get you on there so you can check out the bus tour and stuff. I know I'm traveling a lot in July. I can't remember when I get back in town. But I know the 22nd and the 23rd is the conference. I think I get back maybe on the 17th or something.
Wouldn't that be dope if we did a Facebook Live of the Urban Business Institute?
That would be crazy.
Okay. Yeah, I'm down. I'll be there. Professor Devin Robinson, if you missed any of today's show, Marla said that she is going to rewatch this show over and over and over again. She said there's so many jewels that she didn't pick up the first time that she knows she'll get the 2nd, 22nd, 33rd. So today was a dope show, Professor Devin. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for coming to Boston. Have you been enjoying yourself? You been connecting with the people?
Not really. I got a lot of work to do. So actually, when I leave here, I got some work I got to do. I got leases to read and business plans to approve, and students, registering for our program starts next month. We got another class starting next month. I have the footage from the last 2 events.
You gotta go.
I gotta go through and approve to put out there.
How do we find you? I know we got some books for sale. If you guys want to purchase a book, we have some books for sale. How to open a beauty supply store.
Right.
If you know somebody who's a barber or a beautician or just somebody who's an investor, how to open a beauty supply store. He goes in depth on what you need to do step-by-step on how to make this possible. And if you want, there's a, open the box and we'll set it up for you, depending on how your bank account is or how your investments are. And we talked yesterday with LB about capital. Hint, hint, hint. So how do we find you? How do we get in contact with you? You have like 17 books.
Yeah. 8. I'm not hard to find. DevinRobinson.com is my main website. From there, you can find a lot of my different things. I run Black Businesses Matter. We have BlackBusinessesMatter.net. We have a directory of all the Black-owned banks on that website. Facebook page, Black Businesses Matter as well. I think we got maybe close to 40,000 followers there. My Instagram is Professor Devin Robinson. I don't do a lot of social media, unfortunately.
Because you're too busy running a business.
Yeah.
Enterprise, actually.
Yeah, people are constantly on me about that. Like, you're underexposed. You need to do more social media and stuff. I'm like,
I like really under the radar.
Yeah, I'm really like out here running for real. So it's like every now and then I might do something. I actually have a marketing team that does stuff, but there's a lot of other things that we're doing outside of the social media. Yeah, like we're connecting with partnerships with different agencies and contracts and work with government, and so I don't get to do a lot of social media. And then a lot of the work that I do, a lot of our training, it's forbidden. Like I don't allow people to put that stuff on social media or on YouTube or on the internet, because this is what we, this is
bread and butter.
Yeah, this is what we need to.
Bread and butter.
Yeah, you can't just put it out there for the opposition to grab hold of, and so you can find me there. My IG is Professor Devin Robinson. My Facebook page, Professor Devin Robinson. The website's Devin Robinson. It's DEVIN, folks, not DEVON. DEVIN Robinson.com. My training institutes, UrbanBusinessInstitute.com, and BeautySupplyInstitute.com. My beauty supply store is Shelly's Beauty Supply. That's in Atlanta. The website is Shelly'sBeautySupply.com. Same thing on our Facebook page. I actually use that store. It's my 8th store that I've owned. Opened 94 so far.
And 90% of the market?
25% of the Black-owned stores we've opened. 94 stores physically we've opened.
Okay.
That store we also use at our training store. So people actually come, our students actually work in the store. So we put them in there after we train them in our academy. We put them in the store so they can run the point of sale, deal with customers, manage inventory, so we can actually observe them doing what we taught them to make sure that they got it. You know what I'm saying?
Y'all ain't charging $25,000 a semester yet.
Let me tell you something. We were speaking about that the other day. Let me just kind of give you a little sneak peek to what we were talking about in the staff meeting. Our tuition is like pretty low for the entire program, right? So the entire program is not even tuition for like a semester at traditional colleges. Mm-hmm. And we have 2 institutes. The one that teaches you entrepreneurship, that's the Urban Business Institute, and we put you in the store. The students go into that store as well, so they can learn how to run a business. And the Beauty Supply Academy, under Beauty Supply Institute, the same thing. So they were talking to me about, because I've been faced with this, two things I've been faced with a whole lot of times. One, they're telling me that I need to franchise my stores, the stores I open. I said, nah, I want to let people keep their own legacy and all that. So we have franchise-like support. It feels like a franchise, but you own everything. You don't have to give us any royalties, licensing, anything, right? So we had that conversation, and I got powerful people, colleagues and stuff that are constantly talking about, man, Devin, you need to franchise, man. You're leaving money on the table. And I'm like, it's not about the money. I get money. It's about making sure people can have control of their own thing. I don't want to, so that's a thing that's been posed a lot. But the other piece is that we were talking about in the staff meeting was accrediting. So we're not accredited, right?
Yeah.
I have a friend he just retired. He was a president of one of the universities in Atlanta.
Okay.
And he's always talking to me about accreditation. And he came and he said, you know what? You can be accredited overnight. He said, your thing is so put together. Yes. You've been around 10 years.
What are you waiting for?
So let me tell you. So you got the curriculum, you got the lesson plans, you have the facility, you have everything in place. He said you can get accredited like within 6 months. And you get accredited, you're talking about FAFSA, GI Bill, people can pay for the whole night. But here's my problem.
What's the problem?
And then they're saying, and you do that, then $25,000 could be a tuition. And you are so unique in the sense of you're not just teaching people like college and then the college say go out and get an internship. You're teaching people and then you're saying go down the hall and go in the store.
Yes.
You have something on site to actually see and observe your students execute what you've taught them. He said colleges don't do that. They're just doing the theory and then giving you a piece of paper and say, all right, you're on your own. He said, so you are very unique. And I said, I know this. This was a plan. This is the new dynamics that I'm creating, right?
Yes.
I'm going to become a problem to a lot of the institutions like this. But here's my issue. Though the money would be raining from the gods into our facility, the problem will be
control. You'd be on payroll.
Exactly. Now I'm dancing to the beat of the accreditation institute. But the thing that bothers me the most is I will now have to screen the students that I accept. And that will put me back in the same situation as all the other colleges and accreditation that reject the people that need it the most. So right now, I can take anyone. You don't have to even finish high school. You can have a convicted felony. You can be whatever. Your transcripts can be horrible. You can have low GPA. It doesn't matter. We take you, we train you, we get you in a position to be well.
Accreditation means you have to
accreditation
go get your GED.
Exactly.
You have to pass all types of tests.
And now I am now becoming part of the institution that's rejecting our people from getting quality training and quality help because they made decisions years ago that are now still haunting them to this day. So they dropped out of high school, so what? So now they can't get into college, now they gotta go and try to get GED. And this time, but they got families that are trying to work. They can't study for the GED. They can't. How do they raise their GPA from college? They dropped out of college. They weren't paying their student loans. So now you're not gonna give them a student loan because they stopped paying what they had to drop out to take care of their family, or this person got in trouble, or whatever the case is. So now they can't get back into college to raise their GPA because their GPA is low. How do I raise my GPA if I can't go back to college? Well, how do I go back to college if you're not going to give me a student loan and you're not going to let me in? Yeah. So now I'm stuck. And if I become accredited, I'm no better than the people I'm preaching against. I've become one of them. So I'm leaving millions a year on the table simply because of my moral compass. So it's a thing that I'm still holding on to, and
Thank you.
And I tell my staff, they're like, "But Professor Devin, we can," and I'm like, "Yeah, but those people that we say we're here to help, we will no longer be able to help them, and I can't look them in the eye and say, sorry, I can't accept you because
my pockets is fatter
because I'm being controlled by someone who's paying."
I just fell in love. Thank you. You love your people that much. Thank you. Professor Devin Robinson, I love you. I appreciate you. I hope you have an amazing day. Big City 101.3 FM, Monday through Friday, 5 a.m. to 7. Today is the day that the Lord had made, and if you didn't get the knowledge today, baby, I can't make you drink. And I don't want to. If you don't want it, I don't want you to have it. But I do want the monies to rain down from the gods without you getting accredited. I speak that into existence for you, and I hope you guys have an amazing day tomorrow. Tomorrow is a great lineup once again. Professor Devin, you want to give us a quote?
If nothing changes, nothing changes.
People gonna be pondering all that. That's a meme. One of those high memes. Somebody hitting the blunt. Nothing changes. Professor Devin Robinson, thank you so much. Big City, I love you. Have an amazing day. Mwah.
Right, baby, you know what it is? It's DJs.
You all right?
Yeah.
Thanks for watching, folks.
We're on YouTube and we're on Facebook. So you can say what you want. You can cuss how you want because we're not on
I'm done. Thanks for listening. Let's go out and make things happen. early.
Hey YouTube, how you doing?